All right, welcome to the Smeggie Cave. How's everyone doing today? I'm back here to try part two because I am still bored. Last one I did, no one joined in. We all know how bad that can be. I just ramble. So maybe someone will show up this time. If not, more rambling. Don't know how long I'll sit outside here, showing off the dogs, because it is sprinkling. Not, I wouldn't call it raining. I know I said in the description or in the chat there that it's raining. That's not true. This is like a sprinkle, so it doesn't really count. But we'll see if I get any viewers. We get anyone who wants to jump in. Maybe they will. That'd be fun. I still have nothing to talk about. So if you're watching this after the fact, I don't know. I would maybe skim ahead and see if other icons pop up. Then you know that someone else jumped in. It's probably worth listening to. But if you just see one person the whole time, then it's probably not. I don't know how people do it, man. I do not know how other people do it. I see Yankee goes on there for hours talking to himself. I mean, I guess he's got a lot more people in the chat that he can respond to, so that makes it easier. But I don't know how the people do it. What's going on, Sam? Doing well. Hope you're doing well. Just outside playing with Roy. It's sprinkling a little bit, so I don't know how long I'll stay out here. In case it gets worse, I'll go inside, but if it just stays like this, it's no big deal. And Zig's fine as always. He's just chilling over there. So how are you doing? Jump in if you want. Link in the description. You can jump in on your phone. Anyways, like I was just explaining to the people that weren't here, because I think you're the first person here. I don't know. I don't have anything to talk about. So I may just ramble a bit. Hopefully we get some interaction with some people. If not, maybe we do ask a gun question. You ask me a question, I'll answer it. Ask a Second Amendment question, I'll answer that too. And of course, it'll be the perfect answer because I'm always right. Oh yeah, the other one. Roy's always the one who wants to play. He's always up front, and then Ziggy always just chills. Laziest husky I've ever seen. Every time we're outside. But as soon as we go inside, he runs around and makes a bunch of noise. They play and attack each other. But this dog can do this all day. So if people like watching dogs play fetch, then they're in luck. I think this dude would be good at catching frisbees. I don't know. I should go to like it's like a big open area, or I would say a dog park, but he doesn't do well playing with stuff if other dogs are around because he gets super territorial. But I remember like when I was a kid, movie I used to watch all the time, Flight of the Navigator. You ever seen it? It's a pretty good movie. This kid gets kidnapped by an alien and then dropped back off to him, he thought it was like an hour later or whatever. But in reality, it was like 20 years later or something. So he was all confused and all the world changed. Anyways, the point of the story is at the very beginning of that movie, they're doing a little montage and they're at like a competition for frisbee catching. There's all these like border collies like jumping off their owner's back and catching frisbees and doing backflips and stuff. I always thought that was cool. I think this guy would be good at it. But I don't have anywhere to practice because we don't have any good like big open fields or like a big park that doesn't have a bunch of people at it. And I'd be afraid because he gets a little distracted. I'd be afraid he'd like run off and be all distracted. Like he'd come back. I'm not worried about him like running away, but he might get himself into some trouble first. Yeah, I'm gonna rename this. This is not the Smeggie Cave. This is the Roy Cave. Oh, and Scott's back. Yep, I am live 2 times a day. I'm trying again. It's my second chance. So if you guys keep it interesting and keep interacting, then it'll be okay. And if not, then it'll be boring. Even better though, jump in. Links in the description. I could have sent out links to people. I have a handful of people's emails, but I was kind of being lazy. I do tend to get a little bit better reaction if I do that. But I don't feel like plugging everybody in their email because this isn't like if I had something specific to say, I would do that. I'll send a link to G-Webs and Ghost and Clover and what else do I have emails for? Midnight, Foos, and a bunch of other old school gun channels people. Oh, Night Strike. I don't know who else I have emails for. It's got to be a few other people. But anyways, instead, I'm doing the if you build it, they will come thing. So I just went live, wait for people to see it. And then, yeah, see if anyone wants to join in. It's a good question, Sam. What has been your recent carry firearms and other EDC items? Well, the most recent carry firearm I've had is a CZ75 SP01 Tactical. The last time I carried it was years ago because I am not legally allowed to carry where I live right now. And I don't know if I ever will be because they hate people and they hate the Second Amendment. What's up, Matt Sexy? So, carry firearm, last time I had one was when I still lived in Michigan, and it was my CZ75 SP01 Tactical, which just means it's the decocker model and it has night sights. That's what makes it tactical. But EDC items, well, actually, I have a funny story about that. So I'll say what I have now, I carry a Benchmade knife, and I forget what model. And I know everyone's all mad at them because they chopped up guns a little bit ago. But they still make good knives, and I bought it like on the secondary market, so technically they didn't get any money from me. They got it from whoever I bought it from a while ago. And then right now I carry a Streamlight flashlight. What the heck is that one? It is the ProTac 2XL or something, or 2XTL, or I forget what model number. But it's like a good size. Like that's basically like the 18650 battery, 500 lumens. It's got like a low and a high. So like when you first click it, it's like half power, and you click it twice, and it goes on the second power. No, I am not in Arizona. That is not the case. That is not where I reside. I reside way behind enemy lines. Nice weather though. Anyways, so my story. I have the Streamlight, right? That's what I've been carrying. And I used to carry until, was that 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, something like that. I had a Surefire something or other, which was basically like the same size as the Streamlight, but I don't know, the Surefire I liked a little bit better. Yep. So, anyways, so carrying the flashlight, I went to a concert. I went to Pearl Jam, and I took Uber there because I didn't feel like driving and having to wait with getting out of the parking lot. What's up, Woods? Do 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 do. So, anyways, took Uber to the concert. Went to go see Pearl Jam. Obviously, I did not take my Benchmade with me. I'm not an idiot, but I did take my Surefire because I have carried a flashlight with me to every concert I've ever been at. Why? Because it's dark inside concerts, and sometimes you need a flashlight. And secondly, it's what I always carry. It's always in my pocket. I don't think twice about it. So, trying to get into the concert, and the lady says, "Oh, you're not allowed to have flashlights. You have to go put that in your car." And I said, "I don't have my car with me. I took Uber here." And she said, "Oh, sorry, you're not allowed to have flashlights." And I said, "Well, why the heck am I not allowed to have a flashlight?" She said, "Because of safety." And I said, "A flashlight is safety." I go, "I use it to safely navigate down the stairs or find something in the dark. I am going to a dark place. I would like to have a flashlight with me." And she said, "Nope, you're not allowed to." Yes, that's true. He did own St. Maggie. And I was like, "Really? That's interesting." I go, "Every concert I've ever been to, I've had a flashlight. In fact, the venue that I went to, the last time I was there, was to see a Slayer concert. And I had my flashlight with me. So if you think that a Slayer concert is going to be less rowdy than a Pearl Jam concert, and that me as a Pearl Jam enthusiast am going to use my flashlight to what, punch somebody in the face with it or something? Like, it's stupid. It's not a weapon, it's a flashlight. It makes things bright when they're dark. I was pissed. I was super pissed. So super pissed. I argued with the lady for a while, and my girl was like, "Whatever, dude, like, I'll buy you a new one." And I'm like, "That's not the point. The point is that's stupid. And the point is that if you go to the venue and you look up restricted items, it does not say flashlight." I know because I'm the type of nerd that looks up that kind of stuff before I go to a thing. Even if I've been to it before, I still check. And, and I know how big of a bag you're allowed to carry. I know if you're allowed to have a camera or not, because different events sometimes allow them, sometimes they don't. I look up all that stuff because I'm a dork, and not once did it say you cannot have a flashlight. I was very mad, and we were like a little late. We were meeting up with my girl's friend, and she came in like the north entrance, and we were in the south entrance, so it was already like a big deal to like we have to like walk around and try and find her and blah blah blah. So I was already all frustrated because the thing I thought of at the time was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go put it in my car and walk around the corner and shove it down into my boot, and then come back and go to a different person and go through the lane." And then when I set off the metal detector and they go, "Oh, what's that?" Be like, "Oh, shoot, I forgot my belt has metal on it." And then they wand my belt and see that, yep, it has metal on it, and that I don't have anything else in my pockets. And then they let me go. And then I reach down to my boot and I take my flashlight out and I put it back in my pocket. That's what I thought. But like I said, was running late and was trying to meet up with people and was frustrated and just said, "Screw it. You can keep my damn flashlight." And I was very mad. And you're right. Yes, you're allowed to bring in lighters and smoke doobies. And I'm sure a bunch of other people brought in a bunch of other stuff they weren't allowed to. But God forbid I have a flashlight. So, anyways, I had to buy a new flashlight. And for whatever reason, I was just like, you know what? I don't feel like spending all that money after losing the Surefire. I'm just going to buy a Streamlight because it was just as good. I used to have a Streamlight back in the day until actually that one I lost at some point. Oh, I can click on comments. I didn't even mean to do that, but there you go. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Yeah, so I had a Streamlight for a long time. I carried it for years. And I went out one night and like we went and had dinner And I think I like reached into my pocket to pull my phone out or something, and we were walking down the sidewalk. And it's one of those things at the time I didn't realize it, but thinking back, like I heard something hit the ground, and I didn't think about it. And then we like got home, and then I realized I didn't have my flashlight with me, and I instantly came back was like, oh, I heard that clunk. Yep, that was my flashlight. So when I reached into my pocket to grab my phone, when I pulled my hand out, like I must have unclipped the flashlight at the same time, and it slid out and fell on the ground. So after that one, that's when I bought the Surefire, which was a very nice flashlight and I really enjoyed. And that one got taken by stupid security. So then I bought his Streamlight. So if anybody thinks that, you know, I was wronged and you guys love me, you'll buy me a flashlight and send it to me. DM me for details and you can send me a flashlight. But I'm just kidding because I don't actually want you guys to do that. I have one. It's fine. Like I said, I carried that Streamlight. It's the same model, whatever, the 2XTL or some crap. I carried it for years before. No, I don't think they singled me out. Do you look responsible? Dare I say tactical? No. I mean, I was wearing a t-shirt and blue jeans. I just happened to have a flashlight with me. So I'm sure it was just some stupid thing, but I tried talking my way out of it because I was like, seriously, lady, like this is ridiculous. But she's just following the rules. She didn't make them. But who the heck makes a rule? Like, I'm really upset at the venue itself. Like, who makes a rule you're not allowed to have a flashlight? What the heck am I gonna do with a flashlight? Yeah, the only thing I could think is like I could punch somebody with it, but I feel like that would like it's like a myth. Like people say, oh, like hold a roll of quarters in your hand, or like those aren't brass knuckles. You'll end up just hurting your hand more. Like holding something in your fist doesn't make you punch better, unless I'm wrong. I don't know, but I wasn't planning on punching anybody anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, the old school mag light, 7D cells. Yeah. Now that I could see them not allowing to take into a concert, even though I still think that's stupid. Like, it's, I don't know. It's the same thing, even like banning guns. Like, I bet you, like, I'll take myself as an example. If I carried a gun into a concert, do you know how many people I would shoot? Zero. Because, like, I'm not a bad guy. You know, just like if I carried a knife or a flashlight or whatever, you know, how many people I would hurt with them? Zero. And if I do hurt somebody with it, because I'm a responsible person, and I hope you guys would trust me on this, I would only ever do it if I had to. In which case, like, I shouldn't get in trouble for it anyways. So I don't know. I've never heard. Have you guys been to concerts and they've told you not to have a flashlight? I mean, I've had to take off like wallet chain and stuff before back in the day going to like a metal concert. Luckily, I had my car that time, and I just went out the car and put it away. Like I kind of get that. It was like a long one, went almost down to my knee, like when I was my skater punk kind of phase. I was pretty cool back in the day. My big ass long wallet chain, but I can see that. I mean, I could fucking smack someone in the face with it or whatever. Like that definitely could be bad. Again, I wouldn't, but I can understand their point of view, not knowing who I am, like not wanting that. But a flashlight, seriously, never heard of it. And I will carry a flashlight the next time I go to a concert. You've never been to a concert? Ooh, you're missing out, dude. I used to not really go to concerts, but I probably go to one every couple of months nowadays. So maybe like 5, 6 a year. And they're fun. Expensive, but they're fun. So I don't know. I think if anything, if I want to be cautious, so I've been thinking about it, right? Because like I could just carry my flashlight again to the next concert, like I've been all the other ones, and hopefully they won't take it. But I have like a tiny little streamlight that's like a AAA battery sized one. And I think if I had something like that, it would be hard for them to say like, oh, you can't have that. It's a weapon or whatever. It's like, dude, it's this big. Like at least the other one I could kind of see 'cause you could put it in your fist, right? Like it's about that big around or whatever. Again, stupid. I think that putting something in your fist doesn't make you punch harder or whatever. Yeah, work gets in the way, definitely. Yes, I've been to concerts on like a Tuesday, and that's pretty rough. It's like you work and then you like hurry home from work and try and like eat something real quick or whatever, go to the concert. And then I mean I'm not a huge drinker, but I'll drink a couple beers at the concert, and it's enough to like I'll be tired the next day at work. It's kind of annoying. But man, sexy, you can just come to the Smeggie Cave and you can get a personal concert. Do 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 do. Yeah, whoa, rock on. Do 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 do. There. Now you've been to a concert. Well, that's it. You're saying you're old now. Punished for my youth and life goals now. See, oh, did see Slayer in the '80s? Yeah, I saw them. What was that like? It was before the sickness, right? So it must have been in 19, but it was like their farewell, like final tour. And I saw them, dude. It was such a good show. So the opening band is crap, I forget his name, Phil Losamo or whatever, the dude from Pantera. Like he's the last one from there, and it's like the band name is like his name and the Outlaws or the Bandits or something. Anyways, they played all of Pantera songs. So that was cool. It's like I always wanted to have seen Pantera. I never got a chance to before they split up and then before like they all started dying and stuff, which sucked. Um, so it was them, and then oh, what was the other band? They were pretty good too. I forget. But then it was Primus and then Slayer, which is was kind of a weird mix. But Primus is okay. I don't really know a lot of their songs to be honest. I just like I knew their one because it was on the PlayStation Tony Hawk skateboard game. The you guys know that song, right? Yeah, the lead singer of Pantera. I think, like I said, honestly, I think all of them are dead now except for the one guy. But yeah, it's the main dude. Him and one of the other ones were shot in a club by a crazy person after they split up, right? So there was like two different bands, and two of them went to one band, and the other two went to the other band. And so, crazy person, I think, if I'm remembering, I might be making the story up, but I think it was like the dude was mad that they broke up or something. Was like, "Rawr, I'm mad at you because you were mean to the other guy. I like the other guy better because like they did not like split up on good terms." But anyways, yeah. So it was friggin' went crazy, did bad stuff, and then the other dude, I think he passed away from cancer a couple years ago or a year ago or something. I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I think that Phil Ensemble is the last dude. I think I'm saying his name wrong too. Boy, I'm just full of misinformation today. I don't know. I like the music. I'm not good with remembering people's names and like knowing the backstories of stuff. Yeah. 5 minutes alone. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. 5 minutes alone. No, I haven't seen Slash lately. I'm gonna take a possible unpopular opinion, but I think those guys are overrated. I don't like, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's a dog toy, so calm down, whoever you are. But anyways, yeah. So carry your flashlights at concerts. Ah, my dog's trying to kill me. That really hurt. He went to go snap his toy up, and he like bit my stomach along with the toy. This motherfucker can bite hard, man. So we did the DNA on him, right? Like he's a long-haired German Shepherd. We did the DNA test. He's 75% German Shepherd, 25% Pit Bull. Now, looking at him, he doesn't look like, oh, excuse me, doesn't look like a Pit Bull, but since he's bit me a couple times on accident, I can believe it. Actually, the first time I ever met him, he bit my thumb and it like all turned black. I thought I was going to lose my nail. Now, it was my fault. I had a little toy, like it was like a bone or a chew stick or something. And I went to hand it to him, but I handed it to him like this, like where the stick was like sticking out like that, and my thumb was out. And I went like that, and he bit down, and he bit like right onto the nail of my thumb. And that was the first time I ever met him. But I decided he was okay and keep him anyways. He's a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. Ziggy left. Ziggy went back inside. I always leave the door partly open so he can just walk in if he wants. But yeah, he'll do this all day. Also, it stopped sprinkling. For you latecomers, it was sprinkling when I first came out here. I didn't know how long I was going to stay outside in case it got worse, but it stopped. So, pretty good crowd so far. I think I figured out what was wrong with the last Smeggie cave I did was that G23 was doing a chat at the same time and had like 20 people watching. And I know like probably most of you guys are the same audience as him and the other people's. I tend to all go in the same crowd. Two labs, 90% lab and 10 dumbest rocks. Aw. Yeah, I mean I know labs that are like that, but they're always so like nice. Like labs are I don't trying to think of the best thing. They're like if you could describe them, they'd be like the da 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 da. Oh, hey, we going to the park? Okay. Da 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 da. I'm happy. This dude's pretty smart. Yeah, right. You're correct, Woods. I used to throw sticks with them that were like the size of toothpicks, but I've actually had to stop because he was eating them too much. I was worried. So now it's toys only. All right, hang on a sec. Gotta put my camera down. Do 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 do. I can't do two things at once. I'm trying to talk. Oh, Australian Shepherd. Man, those things are cool. But you are right. They are active. Got to keep the body and mind going. Give them stuff to do, stuff to figure out. It's my girl had an Australian Shepherd when we first met. Well, she had Roy also, so I'm a stepdad over here. But she had the Australian Shepherd and the German Shepherd. I'm not sure who you guys are. I don't know. Do I let in people that I don't know? Like, okay, because been there, done that on people I don't know. Check chat, but how do I know you? Because you could come in and be like weird or whatever. Oh, I'm quirking barbecues chat? Oh, I didn't even see barbecues chat. Bummer. Hmm. What does the audience think? Should I let in people to the chat that I don't think I know? Yeah, exactly. That's been there, done that. What's the Second Amendment? Let's see if I can answer that. Yeah, but see, I don't know you. And what if you're anti-gunners? Which actually that would be kind of fun. Are you anti-gunners? Yeah, but like, what is it? Driver check the driver's license. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go with people that I at least recognize. Thanks for stopping by, though. That's cool. Maybe if I've ever seen you chat before, and you were like, "Oh yeah, I'm friends with so and so." Well, I know you're chill, mad sexy. I'd let you in. I'd let Gunmetal in. I'd let any other name that I've seen before. Oh, you've been watching streams for weeks? That's pretty cool since I haven't done a stream in like forever. Anyways, like I said, I'm cool with people that I know. I don't know you guys. Oops, click the right button. You don't have to use the camera, but also your name is Mad Sexy, and you're saying your mug is super ugly. So what's up with that? Ooh wee. What's up with that? What's up with that? You guys seen that SNL thing where the dude does like a talk show and then he keeps breaking out this song and like never lets any of the contestants like talk? I think it's a game show, not a talk show, I think. Anyways, the DNA test, no, it was which one did I did a wisdom panel. So you take the thing and send it out. Yeah, see, exactly. This is why you guys are not allowed in. And you said your name was a pastor. Like that's just so evil. Curious about those. Hmm. I'm not talking to you, Matt, although I don't trust you. I'm talking to the other guy. But I'm not sure how to do that. Sorry, I'm talking with the internal chat. My internal chat's like, what the heck's going on? That's cool, Chris. Your dog's living vicariously. Watching the dog going, when are you going to play with me? You had a wife in high school? So, anyways. What was I talking about before the weirdo? I don't remember. See, I have a bad brain for this. So I shouldn't put the link out in the thing, but I do anyways. This is the easiest way to get the thing to my friends. Those guys are not my friends. Why would you need another Model 10? I mean, I'm not saying don't, but I'm just asking why do you need another one? I'm interested in your. Oh, that hurt. Oh yeah, what's your rationalization of why you need another Model 10? I think you can have too many revolvers. I'm not a big revolver dude. Two is more than one. Or the whole two is one, one is none. You could go with that. But like realistically, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying don't get it, but just like with my personal philosophy, and maybe it's the point I'm at in my collection, is that I'm still trying to get like I don't want to say one of each kind, but it's kind of like that, right? Like I would still want like a snub nose revolver and some kind of like big bore revolver and like a semi-auto rifle and a bolt action and a lever, da da da, whatever. Maybe different calibers in the same type of firearm, but to just get two of like basically the same thing, I don't know. I like, would you use one more than the other? And then why do you have the second one? Or is there enough difference? Like I can understand having multiple ARs or multiple AKs because you can have them set them up all different. And so you have one for when you want to do this thing and one for when you want to do that thing. So I'm just curious. How many of you other guys, how many do you have two of the exact same thing? And is there enough difference to like, oh, I'm gonna take the green one today, or oh, I'm gonna take the one that has the laser, or the one with the scope, or the one with the god damn, dude. I am getting a workout today. My dog keeps punching me in the stomach with his nose. So I don't have two. The closest thing is I have two bolt actions. That's the closest thing I have two of. But one of them is a 30-06 that I use for deer hunting, and one is a 17 HMR. So they fill completely like different niches. Jesus Christ. Dog tried to kill me again. Sorry, it started raining more. I'm gonna go inside. But okay, we'll just saying he has a bunch. Oh, I keep clicking on your guys' comment. Yeah, see different calibers. That makes sense. But again, I'm just curious. I'm not trying to shame you or anything. Like I said, you do you, have fun. But I just don't get why. You're getting the same great single shot brand rifle, different calibers. Yeah. Just waking up for work. All right, man. Take it easy, man. Sexy. I'm sorry to hear that. Also, I only read the first half. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm still building my collection. So I think the next thing I want is a lever gun. I'm trying to figure out what I wanted, and I think I talked myself into wanting it in 357. Part of that decision is because my dad has a lever gun that's a 30-30. So if I wanted it, like if I wanted to use that, I could. He doesn't mind. Like I could use it whenever I wanted. So I don't really need a 30-30. I already have one in a way. Um, but I think a 357 would be cool because then I could get a revolver in 357, which, like I said, I'm not a revolver dude. It would be my first one, and I would look for suggestions on what to get for that because I don't really know. Yeah, dual. See, the perfectly good answer, Sam. Woods wants to dual wield a Model 10. That good explanation. If he would have said that was his answer, I would have totally agreed. Yeah, yeah. So that's like I said, down the line, I think the lever would come first. I don't know. I like handguns. Obviously, I like my CZ-75 SP1 tactical. And then I have a Keltec PMR 30. So those are two totally different, like, again, things to do. One of them's just fun, and I don't know. I guess it could be practical if it had to be, but I don't really think it is. Um, but anyways, when I shoot at the range, I have a place up north, on my own property, and I have my own shooting range. And I shoot my handgun a bunch. Most of the time, I'm doing it um, there's like practice. Like that's more work. Like I'm shooting my CZ to get good at it. Like practicing, drawing from a holster and moving and all that kind of stuff. Um, but then I tend to play with the rifles more. So I feel like I'd have more fun if I got a lever gun just for the hell of it. I mean, quite frankly, one of the funnest things I do, and like, because when I go shooting, most of the time I'm just like up there all day. Like the last time I went, it was just me and my buddy. He brought all his stuff. I brought all mine. We filled the entire back of my truck with guns and ammo. It was pretty fun. Um, but we were out there all day, like the whole weekend. And I'll play with that 17 HMR. The thing is very fun. It's a Marlin, bolt action, wood stock, and we'll practice. We'll set up like a dime and then go back, 100 yards, try and hit it. And then put something else up and go out 200 yards, try and hit it. And it's just like, we'll take a couple shots and then like you got to walk up and like set the thing back up or whatever, or, shoot a couple things on paper, see who's got the better group and whatever. But it slows you down. Like you don't use that much ammo because you're spending more time talking and laughing and walking back and forth. Like if I want to burn 3,000 rounds of ammo in an hour, like I could, but I don't really want to. Oh, Rossi M92. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, but that's cool. I'm gonna carry the SP 101. Shoots a 38. Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Hmm. My friends who aren't my friends left. That's good. You guys should have seen what was going on in the back chat. There you go. That's a good reason to having two of something. If you're having more than one, the same gun is keeping one standard and make a custom out of the other one. What's up, G23? Same old, same old. Oh, and G-Web shows up. Man, you guys both show up at the same time. We're just talking guns, talking about how I think my next gun's going to be a lever gun. I'm leaning towards 357, so that then in the future, I can get a revolver that matches it. Link is in the description. I do trust you guys. I know who you are, so I will definitely let you in, unlike the trolls that tried to get in a minute ago. So that's what we're talking about here. As always, up for advice. If you guys know a good thing for a good brand of lever guns or whatever, or you think I'm not doing, like, you think something's a better idea, tell me. I'll consider it. Just tell me why. That's always a question I ask. Everyone's allowed to have a different opinion, but at least be able to back it up with a why. So, and I haven't done a lot of research on lever guns. Like, I know Henry exists. I know Marlin. Obviously, you guys said Rossi earlier, so that's a brand. Rossi 92. G23. Okay. Oh, see this guy. Okay, had to stream. Rock on.
What's going on?
Oh, same old, same old. That was really weird. So when I clicked on your name, I could easily add to stream and blah blah blah. And there was a thing on there that says like kick out of room. But I had these two trolls in here a minute ago, and I'm like, I don't even know who you guys are. And I was trying to like kick them out of the stream, but when I clicked on their name, nothing even popped up. I couldn't even like get rid of them. I just had to ignore them. They eventually got bored and went away. So that was kind of weird. The other gun chat's complaining about music. Oh, okay. Well, we're a gun chat. We're going to talk about guns. So, I don't know. So, G23, do you have any two of the same gun?
Yeah, plenty.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask why.
Well, one, I can alter one, and if I screw up, I still have a bone stock one that I can carry.
Yeah, that's a good reason. What do you have two of?
We got more than two of my G23s. Just picked
Well,
up a second
that's because
T320.
you're legally obligated to. Otherwise, you have to change your name, right?
Yep. Why
So
is?
that makes sense.
Oh, just a sec. I gotta turn off my Dolby.
Okay.
Maybe it sounds a little better. I had no sound volume.
Oh, really? I would think it was me, but people are responding to me, so I don't think it's my fault. So, okay, looks like G23's looking to some audio things. You know, if he was a professional podcaster, he would know how to do all this stuff. He would understand how his equipment works, but I guess he's an amateur, so,
Yep. Well,
you know.
it's a new cell phone, you know? I've only had the cell phone for like a week.
Okay, well, that's acceptable. As long as you get it worked out, that'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It just like on my end in StreamYard, it's really, really quiet for some reason. But like if I'm watching YouTube, it sounds just fine. So I
Hmm.
don't know.
Well, that's weird. Is it coming through like the I don't know, not the speakerphone or something or the headset or whatever? Or I don't know if you have like I have an earbud in. I've had trouble with those before. I've had to like disconnect them and reconnect them because my Bluetooth gets wonky. So I have had
Yeah.
that happen before.
I'm just running the straight headset or the straight phone. Yeah. No no earphones, no Bluetooth, no nothing.
Hmm. Well, that's weird. I would say I'd yell for you, but I'm not going to do that to everyone who has regular hearing. So you're just going to have to figure it out. Are you two on the YouTubes? I mean, I'm on YouTube. Is that what you mean, G-Webs? I don't know. But anyways, so
Oh,
Sam's
I
talking
figured it
about
out.
wanting a Winchester 1892 saddle ring carbine in 4440. That sounds like it'd be fun. I understand what most of those words mean. I don't know that I know the specific what an 1892 looks like, but I'm sure it looks cool.
So, what lever gun are you like contemplating? Are you thinking about going with like um a Henry, or are you thinking about going with like a Marlin? Um,
I don't know. I'm very early, so give a little insight in my thought process. I'm the type of person who thinks about a decision for like a year before I do anything, and I am in the pre-planning, like just daydreaming phase. So I haven't really done any research. I mean, I think the Henrys are cool, and people seem to like them, so I lean
yeah.
towards that. But I'm always open for other types. And G Webs, we'll get to your question here in a minute. I like that question.
So Henrys are great name wise, and they're gonna cost you money. It's like
I want to get a cool, like the nice looking one, right? Like with the it's all
yeah,
shiny and gold, and the barrel looks cool, and
yeah. You get the brass with an octagon barrel.
you know,
You know, um, but you can get some nice Marlins that are that have like brass on them and stuff like that, and probably save yourself 50% of the cost. What caliber are you kind of contemplating thinking? Like,
oh, so I'm think I'm going with 357. So then I can pair it up with a revolver in the future. So I think that's a cool concept.
so are you gonna reload your ammo, or are you going to only go with stock?
I could reload. I mean, I have a reloading setup. I have a Lee turret press. Right now, I only have dies for 9 millimeter. I got it just as a make plinking ammo cheap, but I certainly could get the dies for other stuff.
I mean, truly, if you're going to go with like pairing them up and stuff like that, to be able to like reload and because 357 like right now, and even for the most part, is not always the cheapest rounds. Look at me, I'm talking about cheap rounds, and I shoot 45 Colt.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, I think that's the new reality we just have to live with for a while here. I think everything's going to be somewhat expensive, but you're right. There are definitely some that are more than others.
yeah. Um, Try finding 45 Colt if you can find it. It's like just stupidly expensive.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I like the idea of reloading, and I mean, I don't know that maybe even have to tailor the rounds for whether it's going to be the revolver or the rifle, get better performance out of it and stuff. Like I'm cool with that. At least I could like share a lot of the components and everything. Gotta go
Well,
plug my phone in real quick.
a lot of the positive, um, like reloading for your revolver, more likely than not, once you dial in your rifle for like your overall length and everything, your revolver will take those same overall lengths. Now, you may have to like kind of figure um like your grains to figure out if your revolver will enjoy the same grain weight as your rifle versus, if you're going to have two different loads.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking of, and the reason I'm leaning towards the 357 is because in Michigan for deer hunting, they have like the state is kind of cut in half. There's like the upper zone, which you can use any rifle or like whatever, and then the
Straight wall.
bottom zone, it's got to be straight walled, right? And so
Yeah.
357 is one of the options that would work. Now I don't know, would it be like I'm going to want a little more punch on the rifle one for hunting just to make sure like I'm I don't know, like ethical might be not the right word, but like, and concern's not the right word, but I think about like making sure I take a good shot and like don't let the animal
Well,
suffer and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
You want an
But then
effective.
it's a revolver. I don't want to smash my hand a whole bunch for no reason if I'm just using it
Yeah.
for having fun.
Yeah.
I
And
don't think I could really carry it.
the nice thing with 357s is you can drop 38s in them.
Right? Yeah, that's true. And then use 357 as like a self defense
Yeah.
as a backup to my CZ because that will still be like that's my go-to. And I know this is cringeworthy for G webs, but yes, I like 9mm for self-defense because I have 18 chances to hit the person, and
Uh, you
I
know,
like having that capacity.
I'm I'm still the proponent of bigger is better. I mean, why do you think I carry a 40?
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. It's everyone has their own preferences. I'm just right. No, I really the way I look at it is like a good 9mm hollow point. Like it's been getting the job done for a while. It will get the job done, and it's kind of good enough. And then I like being able to have that capacity. How big are the deer? They're whitetails. And Michigan grows some pretty big deer, especially actually the deer in the straight walled zone are all binging off of corn and stuff because that's where there's a lot more farms in like the lower part of the state and off to the west. Whereas in the upper part where we have our cabin, it's all like woods and swamp and like the soil's not as good. So the deer are a little scrappier up north compared to like out west. And I don't even know anyone who lives out west. I just always thought if I ever had the opportunity to go hunting, I'd hate to be like, oh, I can't go. Actually, I wouldn't say that because you can use a shotgun also. I do have a 12 gauge, so I could put slugs in it and use that, which is what I used hunting the first, I don't know, 6, 7 years I went hunting. I only had a shotgun. That's all I owned. So that's what I used. So I don't know, but I do want to get to G-Web's question here to kind of completely change topics. because I will talk about this again. Oh no, where did I was actually going to click on it this time? Oh wait, no, it is still here. Okay, hang on. I'm not a very good host. Bear with me, folks. There, we'll put that up on the screen. Will the NRA show have any different results than other years?
My opinion, no. Um, just remember, Smeggie, I'm not in California, and I did not just trigger that alarm.
Oh, that's okay. I'm used to it. But my neighbor's got he's a construction dude, and his truck is like, if you blink at it the wrong way, the alarm goes off. He doesn't want anyone like stealing tools out the back or whatever. So literally, his alarm goes off like 10 times a day. He'll start off in a second here.
Well, obviously, he doesn't really pay too much attention because if he was concerned about his tools and he made his alarm so sensitive, he would be out there like double checking that no one was getting into his stuff. Because as long as that was going off, man, I could have got away with like 5 saws and a nail gun and probably your air compressor at the same time when I was a troublemaker.
I mean, I don't see. He doesn't keep a bunch of stuff in the back, but whatever. I mean, his window's right there. He lives on the first floor, so he just looks out the window and shuts it off. Anyways, I don't really care about his problems. That's I think that alarm just scares away the crackheads or whatever. Like they're stupid anyways. But anyway, yeah. So NRA, you think there's not going to be any different this year to the other
No,
year?
I mean, so we go on to kind of some of the situation that happened, with the school and stuff, and you had what, four that pulled out of the NRA show just because of that.
Oh, did they? I didn't even hear any of that drama.
Lee Greenwood, who was supposed to be there, pulled out. Governor Abbott pulled out.
He's a dork.
The manufacturer of the rifle pulled, and I think one other person pulled because of of the situation.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a bummer, but at least they're showing their true colors. That's the way I look at it. It's like when like, all the other companies do stupid stuff like back in the day. At least it's like, okay, well, now we know. And then, I mean, my brain, I won't buy stuff from people that aren't going to support the Second Amendment and the community over something like that. But breaking news, this may or may not be true. G-Webs is saying it. I heard they voted Wayne back in. That is a bummer.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I'm also not surprised, but that's a bummer. I
So, I
think,
mean, look at the last time they tried this, and you had, what was it, 40 abstain from voting. Um, so really, there's like, what was it, 33 voted for him, 40 abstained, and 3 voted against him in the last attempt to get rid of him. So theoretically, really, you think those 40 people without a backbone were going to stand up and grow a spine?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It definitely, obviously, it's very political and it's corrupt as all hell. So I'm sure he's got all his little cronies everywhere. And especially with like the way it's set up, right? The board is like a million people, and like it's not a good way to try and run something. Like if you really wanted to like make change, the board would be like 10 people, and they would all be like super transparent, and then they could disagree on stuff and fight about things and put it up for a vote and see what happens. But when you have that many people and half of them are like freaking Ted Nugent and stuff, like they're just name only, they don't actually do anything. So it's all just political stuff. The thing is, I think a lot of the people that maybe some of them that voted for him, they're his buddies, they're always going to vote for him, and the 40 that abstained were like, well, we don't want to piss him off because then like I'm doing this little pet project over here, and as of right now, he approved it. But if I vote against him, then he's going to kick me out, or he's going to try and do this, that, or the other. But just like any other power struggle, if they actually think like the other person is going to win, like they'll just jump to that side. Like there's a lot of bandwagon people, and so it takes a lot of work, and the fact that they're trying again, and shoot, what the heck was that guy's name? I want to give him a shout out. The dude who actually like was running against him or whatever. Oh my god,
Lieutenant Colonel Alan
West.
West.
Yeah, Alan West. So shout out to him. I be honest, I don't know a lot about him, but the fact that he doesn't like Wayne gives bonus points in my book. So I think he's already better
Well,
than Wayne is just off of that. Just he doesn't like him.
well, I don't even
Huh.
really think that he cared if he was running or not. I think some people approached him and said, "Hey, would you run against him?" And he's like, "If you guys want," and that's how it happened.
Yeah, but who said that up? Wood said that getting a relatively big name to attempt is a small victory. Yeah, I'm a glass half full kind of person, and so the fact that there was like at least someone that was say, okay, yeah, sure, even if his heart really wasn't in it or whatever, which is kind of how you describe it. Like I said, I don't know, but the fact that someone's like, hey, do you want to do this? And the guy's like, yeah, I guess so. Like that's a good victory, and obviously the members and the other directors, there is at least some sentiment to be like, we don't like this dude, want to get rid of him. And I'll tell the story again. I think I mentioned it the other day. Um, but every time the NRA calls me and asks me for more money, because I am still a member, some people give me crap about that as well. But I'll be honest, I'm a member so that I can vote for the directors, and I only ever vote for like a couple, right? Because that gives them the highest percentage of maybe getting on, and it's only the people that I actually know that want to get rid of Wayne LaPierre. And my mind is blanking on the last couple that were good people, but I voted for them. And anyways, so every time they call, I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you extra. Like, I'm still a member, but I'm not giving you more. And I know the people on the phone, like, they're just, well, I don't know, they're making minimum wage or some crap. Like, they're just calling. But I always say, like, I'd like to leave feedback of, is there a way that you can get this message back to the people? And they've never answered me if they actually have a way of doing it. Oh man, I gotta change my earbud. My battery's dying. But anyways, I always tell them like I will not be giving any extra money until Wayne's gone. And so please go back to like whoever the feedback people are and tell them that because maybe it might change something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they actually take feedback or not. But if they do, then maybe I'm doing my part. And let's see if this works. All right. Hopefully this still works.
Yep, it's still working.
Okay. Sorry about that. You guys can still hear me? Hopefully. Give me some feedback, please. See, the thing is, I do use earbuds, but I only ever use one at a time. So I was using my left one, and the battery was getting low. So I went and switched it out and put my right one in that was in the charging case. But sometimes when I do that on StreamYard, it doesn't work. So I'm not 100% sure if you guys can hear me now or not.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Especially because I can't hear G23, so. Okay, well, you guys hear me, so that's cool. Let me just double check something. Oh, yeah, see, it went back to default. That's why. Okay, hang on. Oh, we'll try that one. Oh, G says he can hear you both. Is this different now though? Because I could not hear G23. I think my thing wasn't working. It was just going. Oh, there. Now I can hear him. Cool.
I was like, can you hear me now?
Yeah. That's like I said. That when I switch over the earbud or whatever, it defaulted back to like my phone speaker, and I couldn't hear you through it. But we're good now. Okay. So, anyways, talking about the NRA thing. Yeah. So I wish they would ever give me an answer when I'm like, do you guys ever leave like feedback? Like, can you type like in my file? Because obviously I'm on their calling list or whatever. Like, is there a note you can type that says this dude hates Wayne LaPierre? Because if there is, please type it because eventually someone's like they have to monitor, percentage of people that give money when they call versus not. And you would think if the NRA was smart, they would do some kind of research into, hey, how come our numbers went down and da da da. And if there's a whole bunch of comments in there saying, oh my God, 60% of the people say they hate Wayne LaPierre and that's why they're not giving us money. If the other directors hear about that, maybe those 40 pansies who didn't vote last time would vote this time. So I don't know. It at least makes me feel like I'm doing something. And I also always tell them because again, I know it's not the people on the phone's fault. I'm always nice. I don't like yell at them or whatever. Like they're just hired to read off a script or whatever. But I always let them know it's like I'm spending all of my extra money on FPC and GOA and Second Amendment Foundation because those guys like I like them and I won't be giving extra money to the NRA because of Wayne. So hopefully, if that gets into their notes that hey, our I don't know, competitor is the right word, but I guess if they think about it, if they think about it like this, which I think is the wrong way, but if they think about of like they're all sharing a piece of the pie, and the more money GOA gets, the less money NRA gets, so they need to get their piece of the pie or whatever. Which again, I think is the wrong way to think about it. But if they do, that's going to look at it like our competitors are getting more money because of Wayne LaPierre. And that's going to move the needle because if they're all corrupt and stuff, anyways, and all they care about is money, we need to tell them that we have money that they are not going to get because of him.
Now, do you help support like Cal Guns, some of your local state organizations, or do you just go with the big name national organizations?
Yeah, as of right now, it's just the national. I've given to state level organizations in the past. I don't know if I've ever given to Cal Guns. I've gave some to Michigan back in the day. Trying to think, there were some other ones that were like good state. I've given to Florida Carry in the past just because like that one dude used to chat with us all the time. Um, Arizona Citizen Defense League. Uh, the what's the other one? The other Citizens Defense League. That's the good one. Maryland,
Virginia,
or Virginia. I knew it was somewhere over there. Those are all like states don't count. They're all the same.
VCDL, and then
Yeah, I mean
ACDL.
they're putting in work, So I've done some of those states, and then I mean I've given to like people like Tony Simon and KD because I like what they're doing. Rick Ector up in Detroit. He's pretty cool. DC Project. Oh shit, I almost forgot them. DC Project's putting in fucking. You want to talk about who's putting in work? Them ladies are putting in work, and I love their attitude too. Of like they got someone from each state, and they're like our senators and representatives and stuff. They are going to hear from us once a week till the end of time. Like we are going to bug them until we get what we want. I love that attitude. They speak at every single hearing, and they speak at every like. That's good commitment. I mean, I wish I could be that good. But I'll be honest, I'm not. You know, right? I'm a part-time 2A advocate. Advocate. Like I do what I can. Sometimes I give money to people who can do stuff better than me. I still write my peoples. I write my senators and representatives and stuff. So they still hear from me. I still go to rallies or whatever, but so and then just to kind of follow up G-Wise, man, you should jump in here. You got some good questions going, but whatever, if you're doing other stuff, that's fine. Um, so I'll hit this one real quick. Sam's asking if I should just move like up north, like just sell my house, move up there. I mean, it'd be cool, I would, but I need to work to like have money to be alive, and the type of work I do would be hard to do up north because it's in the middle of nowhere. So I mean, if I want to go up there and then like drive 40 minutes every day to go work at a Walmart or something, I could do that. But there's not very much industry up there. So that's why I haven't. Maybe I'll retire there when I'm old or something. Like it's staying in the family, so it's not like it's going anywhere. So hit that question real quick, and then circling back to the NRA, you would say, yeah, but Smeggie, that's been like that for years now, and you're right, it has been like that for years, where there's somewhat of an undercurrent, and he's able to beat it. But again, I will always be an optimist, so you know, you keep chipping away at it, and eventually something's going to change. I mean, hell, maybe it's not even the result we want, but like maybe he just retires for personal reasons or something. Like maybe something happens or like that would, I'd be fine with that too. Like whatever it takes to get rid of him. But unfortunately, if it's something like that, if he steps down, he'll probably make sure that whoever takes over is like the same crooked whatever. Like he'll
So
set up his dude take over.
to answer G's question, in the description of the video,
I'll post it again though. He doesn't have time to read no descriptions. There. Because we all know I love talking to G, so he's always welcome. And any of you other guys too. I see you guys out there, Sam and Woods and Gunmetal, and
Woods needs to jump in here.
there we go. Add to stream.
I didn't know you were using the StreamYards.
Oh yeah, I only use the Ducky. I don't know what else to use.
I just thought you were on with your phone. That's why I was like, oh, how'd you get G23 in there? I thought he just, like on Instagram, how you can suck people in somehow. I thought we were doing something like that.
No, this is always how the Smeggie Cave works, but I'm glad we got that figured out. So I like your question here.
I was just going to say the NRA is posting on Instagram. I just opened it with the mate Jacob Bryant, whoever that is, the only country artist not to cancel on the NRA convention. So I guess NRA is upset that all the artists canceled on them. And they got a picture of this guy who's didn't cancel, I guess. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm also happy the dude didn't cancel. I mean, I know nothing about him. I don't like how the NRA like only ever does country stuff, but that could just be a product of like there's not any like cool bands that would want to do a concert at NRA. I know of a few metal bands that are like pro Second Amendment, but they're probably not big enough or whatever.
You would think, but maybe they just don't. Whatever, yeah. So, just what do you think of the idea that the NRA is being like having an attitude on the Instagrams about it. Seems kind of weird. It's not like the NRA is known for paying attention to things on their Instagram and commenting, you know? Like normally they're just oblivious. And now they're all
yeah. Oh, that's true. It's probably like just one person that actually is like, tuned in. Because you're right, the NRA Instagram tends to be pretty tone deaf. There'll be like some crazy stuff going on, like I don't know, some Supreme Court thing, da da da, whatever, and they post something like, "Oh, NRA did this because we're cool," or like, dude, you're not even paying attention to what's going on. Why is there a picture of an apple pie? Like nobody cares. Get in the fight. Which conversely, FPC, their Instagram is on the freaking ground level of everything. If you want to stay in the loop, follow them on Instagram. They know every court case and every law and all. Like they were the first one. I truly get a lot of my Second Amendment news from them first. Even if it's a meme, at least I go, oh, at least now I know to go look into it, because they might just post something about like printers go burp, and I'm like, oh, they're doing some 3D print thing again. Let me go figure out which state that's for. But that's also my sense of humor. I like that FBC trolls a little bit. So, anyways, to kind of wrap up on the NRA thing, like I said, I am hopeful that something will change. I don't know if it will, but I'm just an optimistic person, I guess. And I think all we can keep doing is just keeping our voice heard, right? It's just like anything else in Second Amendment fight. Like even if you're behind enemy lines, you got to keep telling the senators and the representatives you don't want these laws passed, or you want to repeal something or whatever. And it might fall on deaf ears, but at least you tried, and eventually you'll break through. And the same thing with the directors. Let them know that their seat comes up every 3 years or whatever, right? Because they kind of do a rotating thing. So let them know, like, we see you voted for the bad guy. We're not gonna vote you in next time. And if enough NRA members actually pay attention, then that'd be cool.
So honestly, I'm not going to say I'm optimistic, but I would definitely like to see stuff change in the NRA. But I'm a realist that I don't think anything's going to change until like either they're completely forced to change or he retires.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it would surprise me if that happens, but also, like I said, I'll be optimistic. To take a cue from one of my favorite movies as a kid, Angels in the Outfield, it could happen. And like I'm that kid, like repeal the NFA. It could happen, and I'm gonna try to make it happen.
If you build it, they will come.
And jumping on to your other question, you talking about the new organization with Trump's son and Big Daddy Unlimited. I'm not even aware of that. Like my initial thoughts is that it's a money grab and they're not going to get anything done. But I honestly don't even have any idea. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing that's happening. Well, I mean, there's opportunity, I guess, people see where there's money to be made or there's angles, right, to work on.
Yeah. I mean, I've met Junior. I talked to him for 30 seconds or whatever. And I don't know. I didn't get the warm and fuzzies from him. Like he feels like a politician, to be honest. Like he just He seemed like he says the things that he should be saying. But I also thought he hooked up with the silencer people, and I thought those were like good people. So then I was like, well, maybe I'm wrong. But the other part of it, the Big Daddy thing, I don't remember why I don't like him, but I don't like him. So then that makes me think that it's not good. And these are all just my honest opinions. I'll be straight
I don't know if
guys.
they're
I,
the
I don't
same.
have good memory and I don't research stuff sometimes, but
I don't remember if they're this. I don't know if they're the same or if they're just two new organizations starting. You know what I mean? I don't know that they're necessarily working together.
oh, that they're connected or not. Okay.
Right. But I am looking at the ASA, American Espresso Association thing, and it's got Knox Williams, the guy that started it, Owen Miller, Michael Williams, and then it's got Lori, Pete, Bobby, Marty, Michael, Chris, Kenyon, Graham, Dave. None of these people are the, what do you call them? President's son, or the old president's son.
Yeah.
And then that was the board of directors. Yeah, that's everything. Corporate sponsors, not in here. So maybe that was only a thing for a little while when it was handy or useful.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I thought I remembered seeing like a video with him and the suppressor people, but maybe it was just a promotional thing. Like he was jumping in
Well, no,
trying to.
he was definitely like on their board. That's what I'm saying. That's why I went to look.
Oh,
He was on their board. Like
he
I bet
probably was just on for the election and then was like, "Yeah, I just used you people. I'm out of here." Like I said, I don't have a good opinion of Junior. I could be wrong, and if he gets shit done, like if the NFA gets repealed because of Junior, like I'll go shake his hand. Like I got no problem with that. But I just because sometimes the grifters get shit done, and it's like, well, at least the corruption went our way this time.
Yeah, no, that's the way to say it. People that are doing stuff get the stuff done. People that are watching shit don't do anything. They just watch the shit. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot more people watching, but you know, you don't want to support the people that don't got good intentions, but there's only so many people playing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking if I would give money to Junior's organization, that's probably going to be a no.
Yeah, big no when he's got 40 something or somewhere between 40 and $300 million. What does he need money from us for?
Well, I mean, Bloomberg's people raise money too, even though he's got a bunch of money. So, like, they can spend their own money, but they'll rather spend other people's money.
Well, Bloomberg is the 20th richest person on the planet. Like, what's his face? President Trump, before he went in, I don't know if I'm sure he lost money because he didn't make any money. He stopped all his money making when he was in there, I thought. He was only in like top, I don't even remember, like 50 or 100 even. Like Oprah's richer than Trump. So Trump was rich, but he wasn't that rich compared to Bloomberg. He's the 20th richest person on the planet. He's 10 times Trump, 10 times Oprah. So I guess I'm saying, like, we don't have, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know where that guy's at with it, but he doesn't have Bloomberg money where he can just throw it away casually or whatever, I guess. Like, he can just fund things casually like Bloomberg can, or could if he wanted to. But you also don't see Trump's kid, at least, putting any money in there, like putting any skin in the game. You know, he's not running around with his elbows, with his sleeves rolled up, working on anything that I'm aware of. So that means he's not doing it in front of anybody that I'm paying attention to.
All right, yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't even know he did a thing.
I only know because some new one came along, and then somebody was like, "Oh, that's Trump's kids thing," and I'm like, "What? What?" So I'll go figure out what it's called here in a second.
So I've heard about it. I've kind of read a little bit about, you know, what Trump's son's doing. I just don't know. I think his name even if he's coming out of, good intentions, honestly, I think his name is going to hurt him. Because there are a lot of people that do have complete, longer memories than a gnat, and they can easily say, hey, you know, your dad's responsible for the bump stocks, and hold that against him. Why couldn't you have, grabbed his ear and said, hey, no, this isn't a good thing? Now you want to come and say, hey, give me money and I'm going to go after these kind of things. It's kind of that kind of thing that has my way of seeing the issue.
So I look up the website, and it's got 2 pages on it, the main page and another page. The main page goes, with the Second Amendment under attack from radical left and the Biden, there's an urgent need to energize and mobilize Americans to fight back. So then, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump Jr. organized a massive campaign to sink the nomination in the Senate of Chipman. So then it goes, Yahoo News summed up the results. Donald Trump Jr. helped sink Biden's nominee. Right? So there's this article about how Trump's kid stopped by that nominee. And then it goes, our team, led by Chairman Donald Trump Jr. So like there's one person on the team, and that's the main page. And then you go to the other page where it says news, and they go, here's the latest news. There's 3 news articles. And they're the ones that says that Chipman can't support the Second Amendment, that Donald Trump Jr. launches a new gun rights group. This was at SHOT Show. And then a third article. So are they dated? Oh, they're on Yahoo News. They link to articles on Yahoo News from September of 21.
So for educational purposes, what's the thing called? Just so I can remember that that's the thing to not like.
So here's the worst part about it. It's the URL is 2A, the number 2, the letter A, taskforce.com. And then it's branded Second Amendment Task Force. So, it's not the same. It's 2A Task Force or Second Amendment Task Force.
Okay.
And their branding, I guess, is both. So they have branding on the page for both 2A Second Amendment Task Force and 2A Task Force. But it's bad.
Okay. So we'll avoid the task force.
I have no confidence that this is anything other than gun owners will vote for this guy or give money to this guy or whatever. Like, gun owners have nothing else to do. Click on things that are red, white, and blue, and click on shit that has the Constitution in front of it or behind it, I guess. The best is where he's got a video running, and he's like, I don't know, like if you took a 14-year-old who read about hunting to a store and said, we're going to buy you a gun and you're going to go hunting. And then that 14-year-old was like grinning ear to ear going, oh man, I'm going hunting. You know what I mean? Like that's what he looks like in some store. It doesn't look like a manufacturer. I think he went into some store and they're like, can we videotape rich ass dude buying a bunch of shit? And then he's just like giggling the whole time. Oh, I'm buying
probably like a Cabela's or something.
No. It's more like some place. It might be a rifle manufacturer, or it's a fancy gun shop where they build the gun to your spec. It's like going into a fancy
like a custom fit, whatever.
Yeah, except it's a gun shop. So it's like it kind of looks like he's hanging out with a bunch of gunsmiths, but it also kind of looks like a shop, like a store. But it's definitely like the kind of store you have to have an appointment to go into. But and then I'm guessing the shooting that they're doing is at the exact same time because he's wearing the same clothes during the whole thing. So he's basically like, oh, these are what guns are? Oh, you do this? I'm shooting a gun. And he's probably shooting like, $70,000 gun. What is a KAHLES? What kind of optic is that? I'm assuming it's super expensive. There's no way this guy went into a bargain shop and had somebody normal build him something.
Are you saying he doesn't have a Bushnell scope on top of that thing?
Kahles. Kahles? I've never heard of it. So it has to be super expensive, I'm guessing. I mean, it's got a billion zillion notches on the turrets of the scope.
I figured he would have had a Tasco on there.
No. And I'm just watching if you go to the website and you just sit there, it just happens. Like the video just plays. He's using Wix or whatever.
Is oh shoot, what was that old school? What's the Angel Fire or something? What was that old website?
Yeah, exactly. He's just using a website builder though. You can just drag your video over. Oh, I'm going to grab the video where I learned how to shoot a rifle. That was so fun. He just looks like a grown man who's also a 14-year-old who's never been behind something he's excited about. Like, oh, I get to ride the horse? Oh. It's like, well, I get to shoot the gun. Oh, I shot the gun. And then he's like, oh, the people will dig this. Other people will think this is cool that I've never touched a gun and I'm this excited that I'm touching a bolt action gun. There's no possible way. And if you're not going hunting or something, that you'd be that excited touching a bolt action gun. This is the way people get excited. He opens the bolt and pulls out the spent cartridge with his hand instead of letting it open all the way. He like puts his hand in there and starts pulling out the cartridge because he's never even operated a bolt action before. And then he puts that video up on the internet. Like, oh, people will respect the way I've never used a bolt action. And I put my other hand. I mean, can you screen share? It's literally horrible. Or can I do that? I'm going to screen share.
I think so, yeah. And then I think if I click on you, I can do solo layout. So
no, you got to pick the other thing is the thing. I can't make it pause, though. It's a problem. You got to pick up that other screen. See how there's another screen?
I don't know how to do that.
And there's a thing down below.
Yeah, and say it should show up. Yep.
There you go.
I
So
did
here's
not
him,
know such a
and then
thing.
they're like, "This is a gun." He's like, "A gun," and then they're like, "Yep, you're gonna touch a gun," and he's like, "I'm gonna touch a gun, huh? I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna touch a gun." And then he's like, "This is the gun I'm gonna touch. I'm gonna touch this gun. Oh, I'm touching a gun. Look at him. He's like, oh, I'm touching."
Okay, so I just noticed something that's because it's over his face. Who is the marketing genius that realizes that the Second Amendment Task Force is to ATF?
As I'm telling you, it's shady.
Like you're the second ATF? Like what's going on here?
Yeah. So look at this. There's where he's like, "This is the gun I'm gonna touch. You're kidding me. I'm gonna touch this gun." And then he's like, "I'm touching the gun." He's like, "Oh, I'm shooting the gun." Wait, that's the best part. I just figured out this part. First, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna shoot the gun." Then he's like, "Oh, look, I'm gonna take out the bullet with like his two." And he's like, "He, I shot a gun." so bad. I gotta get this out of the way. He keeps like laughing. I'd be scared if somebody came in and laughed that much trying to shoot a bolt action gun. So he's like, "This is the gun. I'm gonna touch it, right?" Yep. "Oh, I'm touching the gun. Look at that scope." And then who told him how to take the round out? Like, oh, reach your hand over and then touch it with and then grab. Oh, he got a gun. This is wood. Oh, wood. I'm sorry, I can't get enough of how this is the videos he picked. I'm gonna touch this gun and I'm gonna shoot it. Okay. What's that part? What's part's optic? You look through it. Oh yeah. It's like a magnifying glass.
The only thing I was waiting for when he was looking through the scope, I was waiting to see his other eye like squinting real hard. Like he can only use one eye to look through the scope.
I wonder if there's a way I can pull the video. There's got to be a way to pull the video out of there. Oh, maybe not. It's all a bunch of class files and garbage. I don't feel like opening it all apart. I was hoping there's just a video I could right-click and open in a new window. The part where he keeps laughing about shooting a bolt action. What would possibly be funny Like, oh, I spent a bunch of money on this gun. Like, oh, I said a joke and I'm going to put that into my video. He's telling him, look, you can't just shoot this gun. You got to touch the wood a bunch of times first. All right, I'm touching the wood a bunch of times. Here I am, squinting. Then grab my hand in there. All right, pull that bolt. I'm on an expensive gun with no ejector. I want to pull the bullet out of there every time.
And I'm going to use my left hand and reach over the scope to get it. Oh no, just kidding. I'll use my right hand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here's what you want to do, rich guy. When you go to get that round out of there, put both hands really close to the ejection and just start yanking on stuff, and then it'll come out eventually. You'll have to put your fingers in there.
Make sure to smack into the scope with your other hand when you're trying to reach the bullet, because like,
what was he even doing? Like, I'm just leaning on the scope, and then, oh yeah, I'm also going to open the action, and then, oh, my fingers got in the way of the thing. Like, there's no possible way that. And what are they going to do? They're like, well, he's rich, so I guess he's going to open it however he wants to open it. Like, I'm going to open it with my left hand on the scope. Okay, Trump Jr., go ahead, open it up. And then he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that video in my only website that exists to raise money.
that is short for ATF.
Stand with 2 ATF. I wonder if I move this way over if the video will stay. Oh no, the video just gets giant. Look how big his hair is.
Yeah, no, they're real good with having that branding right like in front of his face on every shot.
Because somebody's probably like, grown men don't laugh this much when they're hanging out with bolt action guns. There's nothing interesting about bolt action guns like this. Every time he laughs, they put that thing in front of his face.
So at least the video editor's like, all right, I gotta save this somehow.
And then I guess Tails for this. There's no heat in this building because everybody's wearing a coat. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's at least, doesn't it seem like some kind of high-end gunsmith or something? Maybe all those guns are kind of. It's not a gun. Look at that guy. He's like, what the hell is happening? That guy's sitting at the desk. And then of all the video, they're like, oh, take the video where he doesn't know how to get a bolt action to open. The one where he fouls, he somehow jams a bolt action. Get that video. Here's the guy who's going to be sitting over here at the table, watching the bottom corner over here on the right. He's like, what the hell is he talking about?
It's like, I voted for this idiot's dad.
I can't get over, now that I've seen it, what was he doing with his hands? And what were they? And then they're like, oh, let's video the part where you have your one hand in the way of opening a bolt action. And like, let's not do it again. Nobody even bothered to tell him, like, oh, that's weird, man. Don't stick your hand in front of there and do that. That's probably hot. And like, don't do that. And then let's film that again so you don't look like an imbecile. And then he puts it back in. He doesn't even know. He's like, he's never even pulled he hasn't even watched a gun go off before.
I almost wonder, I couldn't see good enough. Maybe he was loading a new round? Like, did he drop it with his left and then push it forward with his right? I couldn't see if there was a projectile at the end of it.
This doesn't help, does it?
No, it was a spent round.
It was, okay. I mean, like I said, we're trying to see a tiny video with the stupid thing in front of it, and I'm on my phone, like, trying to see it, so.
Oh, you're on your phone, okay. So you're running this thing through your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go see if that thing is on YouTube, because it's possible that video is on YouTube. I'll go look for it over here so that you don't get a thing for me.
I just removed that screen from the stream for now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if I find something, I'll add it back on.
Yeah, let me go search for that guy. Come on. Come on, I said.
But anyways, there was something, I forget what G23 said, but basically when we were talking about Trump, it sparked in my brain. Oh, I think I know what it was. You said something about, like, you know, we have good memories and we're going to remember, hey, your dad banned the bump stocks and all that stuff. my response to that is us in this chat, the people watching, if I know anything about my audience, are not the target audience of the second ATF, which is what I'm going to call it now. Now it's the second ATF.
Mhm.
We're not their target audience.
No.
Their target audience are the same type of people that give money to the NRA and say, well, I'm done. I solved gun problems. Like, the evil libtards aren't going to take my guns from my cold dead hands. Like, I love Clint Eastwood, da da da. Those same types of people, I'll toss $20 to Trump. Like, Trump's cool. He's the Second Amendment. What was his quote? The attack on your Second Amendment rights has ended. Like, there are people that still think that was true, that Trump was the best Second Amendment president ever, and it's just not true. But like, there's people that think it. Those people are going to toss $20 over to Trump Jr. because Trump Jr. stopped stupid chipmen, which I still think is a huge distraction. And I'll be honest, a lot of the good organizations do the same thing. FPC was huge on stopping chipmen. They are posting 10 times a day right now, stopping the other idiot. I truly think that's not a worthy fight because no matter who the director of the ATF is, they're going to do the same stupid ATF stuff. And if you vote down this nominee, guess what? They've been running this whole time without a director. They'll keep running without a director. There's some interim director who wasn't even public who's been running the thing all this time, anyways. And they still reclassified receivers. They still did the thing with the arm brace with the points. And if it's over 32 inches, it gets 2 points. And if it's got this, it's under 2 points and da da da, whatever. They did all of that without a director. They'll keep doing all of that without a director. I truly think it's a waste of time, money, and effort to give two shits about nominating a director. But anyways, that's
it's a waste of time if we only had limited resources, but we don't. So I think as long as you've got a system in place that allows multiple things to happen, then and maybe some sort of a check and balance so that you don't get lopsided and spend too many resources to something that's not the number one issue, right? Then I don't have a problem going after it so that there's so that they know that they're going to meet resistance all the time, and so that you got people in the realm so that if it starts out being not a big deal, but then it turns into a bigger deal, you know what I mean? So we got people there who are like, oh no, this is turning into a bigger deal. Ideally, people that aren't looking for fame and fortune, so that everything they touch, oh, this is a bigger deal,
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to digest that. Like,
I just think that it's worth paying attention, but maybe not devoting an entire organization's resources. But I don't think that's happening. They might be devoting more than you want, but I don't think they're devoting all of them for sure.
oh yeah, I agree with that. There's definitely bigger fights being fought that are useful. But you said like, there's unlimited effort, which could be true, but there are limited resources. And so for every dollar you spend stopping Chipman or whatever this other dude's name is, like that's a dollar that could have repealed the NFA. And I truly think that the ATF's going to be stupid no matter what. So it's like, are we just gonna just shoot down every director for the next 120 years? Like, we could do that, but the ATF is going to run for the next 120 years, like doing whatever the hell they feel like doing, anyways. So the way to change it, I don't know, is from the inside more than just the director. Like, or is maybe that the hope? Is that we get an actual pro Second Amendment president who nominates an actual pro Second Amendment director to the ATF? Like, I think that would be a unicorn. I don't know if that person exists.
I don't think that could happen. I think the best you could get is some other kind of person in office that isn't trying to use that agency as a political thing, and get somebody in there who's, to stop smoking or to worry about alcohol, which are bigger issues in society. If you know what I'm saying, like to get somebody in there who's not an anti-gun, because I don't think you get somebody in there that's pro-gun.
Right, but if I mean, I'll admit I'm still thinking this out, right? So excuse my ramblings, but like I don't know. I guess I just don't see the point of rejecting the director because let's say Chipman got in. Okay, he's anti-gun, and that's bad. Well, without him, they were anti-gun anyways because he was like, the acting director behind the scenes, or he was the vice president, or whatever the heck the name is. Um, and so even if he gets in, let's say the next president's like cool, and they would just kick him out anyways, and then get in the person who's not anti-gun. Because I do agree with you on that. I think they're not gonna get a pro-gun dude in there. I don't see that happening.
I agree with you. I don't think that the resistance of that guy is to have a better guy in there or gal, because you're sexist if you think it's got to be a guy. And I think it's more just to show the other side we're never going to be happy with nothing. You're going to have to force everything in there unless you put in somebody who's worried about smoking or alcohol, right? So I think that's the main thing. But as far as the resource thing, I hear what you're saying. But I think there's as much or more value in being multidimensional than there is in being ultimately effective in one discipline. And we've been having this discussion, you and I have been around for a while, having the discussion about removing the NFA, and there's no momentum for that. I believe it's the thing to do, but there's very few people that think that's the strategy. I think that is definitely more people today than there was when I first started bringing it up who won't look at me funny. Like people don't look at me funny when I bring it up. They look at me like I'm asking too much or I'm got too big a ambition, but they don't look at me like I'm insane. Like when I first started bringing it up, and I'm not bringing it up to regular people. I'm bringing it up to advocates, right? So it's not like, it's going anywhere, but I don't think it's gotten any less ability. But it just doesn't have legs yet. So as much as I'd like to keep an effort on that, I bring it up to a lot of people, right? Like, what about getting rid of the NFA? What about screwing all this and getting rid of the NFA? And I just don't see the appetite there yet. But I think that if you continue to get faceted, multi-dimensional in our abilities, we bring more people to the table, we get better, and then more and more successes gives us more energy and more ambition. We go, oh, you know what, maybe we can do more. Oh, you know what, we just did that and that and that. What else is even left? Oh, we can take care of that, right? I think it gets us to that. And since we have so many people, period, that are willing, it's like, why say, all of you who aren't interested, like, we want to get rid of the NFA. Everybody who's interested in the NFA, raise your hand. Okay, you come with us. The rest of you, hang on. Like, why tell them to hang on? The rest of you, go do whatever, And the thing is, if you did that, if you said, hey, everybody wants to get rid of the NFA, raise your hand, it's only going to be like 8 of us. You know what I mean? It's not that many. There's a bunch of people that say, oh, yeah, I'd like to live in a world with no NFA, but they got no interest in actually pursuing it. They think it's too radical, or they think it's, you know what I mean? They haven't figured it out yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I definitely agree with the multi-pronged approach, the multifaceted. It's actually, I think I was talking about it before you jumped over, but like, I'll do the analogy again. And I don't know a lot about football, but it is like that where every once in a while you got to throw the Hail Mary, and then sometimes you got to do like a running play and just pick up 2 yards. So the NFA is like, the 80-yard touchdown. Like, we're just going to get rid of everything right now. Like, let's go. But in reality, you're chipping away at the defense, like getting 2 yards here, 5 yards there, blah, 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 whatever, like doing little running plays. The thing why it's important is because the threat of like that Hail Mary, like all the way down the field exists, the defense takes like 2 steps back to like kind of cover that, but also cover like a little short run. And so it's like keeping them on their toes. Like,
oh, I like that idea. I don't know nothing about sports either, but I like the idea of like move your artillery once in a while, even though you're planning to send in infantry or amphibious, right? Like keep them guessing what you're doing and be ready for any possible opening.
Exactly, because if
That's the
they
thing. If they
know,
make it easy to lose the NFA and then we're not ready for it, then shame on us, right?
right, and I do agree with you that the momentum for the NFA is, I'm going to say it's building at least a little bit. Like you said,
Oh, a
people
lot.
don't look at you like you're crazy.
I think a
I
lot.
do
It's just
think,
not enough to get a whole organization to remove it yet. We got organizations that are, leaning into it instead.
right, and that's fine. And I'm not saying that that's where all like 100% of the focus should be either. Like I said, I like the little bit of everything, and just like every once in a while, like just mention it so that the people are like, oh yeah, that thing still exists. I also think that even as 2A advocates, there are a lot of like naysayers, and they look at, if I'm not going to get 100% of the goal, then it's pointless. I've used this other analogy. Sorry, I'm so big on analogies, but we're pushing a boulder down the road. Okay, I want to push the boulder like 10 miles down the road. Get rid of the NFA, get rid of background checks, you know, buy your full automatic with a built-in silencer from Sears, like a catalog order delivered to your door. That's where I want to go. I'm 10 miles down the road. Other people are like, well, I'm okay with background checks. I'm okay with the NFA data, but I don't like mag limits. Well, okay, we can push this boulder together. We'll go a half mile down the road and get rid of mag restrictions. And then if you want, you can stop pushing and I'll keep pushing, trying to go to the 10 miles. But instead, people look at where's the finish line. And if they're not going to get there tomorrow, it's not worth trying. I'm not even going to help you push the boulder. Or you're crazy. You want to go too far. I'm not going to help you now because I don't want to go all the way. Even though they agree that like the mag limits are stupid. Like let's get that half mile first. And then we can fight about the 10 miles. But everyone, they go to the end.
You've used that before. I think there's something there too. I was going to say something like they want to come up and take a selfie during the time when you're pushing the rock, and then at the end, everybody's going to want to come up, roll up their sleeves, and help push it the last couple of rolls so that they can get a picture at the end that they were there to cross the finish line. I don't know, just adding that in there because there's that element where people are just going to hang out and watch the effort, and then, oh yeah, I was part of the effort. I was there the whole time. Look at all these selfies I took.
I mean, that's already proven. Look how many victory laps the NRA does with constitutional carry. Like they're the ones that passed it in Georgia. They're the ones that passed it in Texas. They're the ones. No, they aren't. Like people putting in the work passed it, and then they just showed up at the end and we're like, oh, NRA backed constitutional carry passes another state. Listen, I'm not necessarily mad at them. Like, okay, fine, do your little victory lap, but like because they probably pushed a little bit, but they could have pushed more.
Yeah, I hear you. Don't worry about that. Or at least my way to suggest not worrying about that is they're the big blimp. They're the news story at the end, right? They're the people that show up like the boss of the company that comes down at the end to say, yeah, everybody did a good work. Like I represent the team and we all did a good job, right? I guess that's a bad analogy because they're not next to representing the team, but they're the scale that they're going to get the word out. So let's say Georgia Carry did all the work, because they did a lot of work. And then there's other organizations that actually did the work and Georgia Carry organized, right? There's the individuals that did the work. And then there's the other organizations that supported Georgia Carry and all those individuals that support them. And then it took years. So that was effort, compounded over time. So there's a lot of, thanks to be given to a lot of people. Once it's all done and said, there's optics, right? There's the other side of it. Like once it's done, that should be a signal to the next state. It can be done, right? Let's not forget that it got done. Took a little, it took a while, but we got it. And that, if the people that actually got it done can't amplify that, they can't get the word out, then we're leaving something on the table. Like we're not getting as much out of it as we could. So I look at it as NRA comes along after, just like the aircraft carrier would, and flies the Thunderbirds past in a big noisy salute at the parade. Right on, we're here. Like those Thunderbirds didn't do nothing. They didn't attack nothing. They didn't do nothing, but they were signals. They were, the blimp. They're the big giant announcement. This just happened. And where a lot of people wouldn't have ever heard that it happened in Georgia. Some people might, but you know what I mean? Like most people are just minding their business, and unless the news tells them, they're not going to hear it. But now that the NRA says it, now a gun shop hears it where they wouldn't, you know, because a gun shop's not listening to FPC. A gun shop's barely trying to stay in business and worrying about what guns to buy, what guns can they get, what guns do people want. We have all these theoretical discussions online and everything. In real life, gun shops are probably having to get 100 or whatever gun's popular, and they can only get 50, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got all kinds of stuff on their mind besides being 2A. So the NRA accomplishes getting that, what's the word, like concise info to them. That's why I see the NRA being, you know, in that role, being useful. Sure, it's frustrating for the people that put all the work in to think that the NRA comes by and just claims it, but they're just promoting, they're just getting the word out. You know, to suggest that NRA is claiming it is to actually suggest the NRA isn't 5 million people who are represented by, you know, a giant infrastructure and a marketing team and all the rest. So it's not like one guy at the NRA is like, ha ha ha, I'm going to take credit for this. They're just trying to be on the team with everybody, you know. So I'm not trying to be apologetic for them either when they got bad issues, but at the same time, I don't want to throw out, because, you know, you look at like a NRA post where it'll say Georgia, you know, Georgia is the 25th, right? Was it Georgia? Whatever the 25th state was it Georgia, right? And then, you know, it'll have 27,000, a reach of 27,000. Georgia carry, reach of 2,700. You know, like a factor of 10 or more reach.
Yeah, and I mean, you're right. We can give some credit that they are getting the word out. And I guess I was just thinking, as you were talking about too, by that showing up that, oh, they're the 25th state and 26th, whatever, then when it does come to whatever the like 28th state is going to be, the NRA people or the people that follow the NRA in that state, it's not like they've never heard of it before. Like that, so they might be more likely to then help out like the people getting the work done, because they're like, oh, I heard about this. And yeah, it's happened in 25 states already, and there's not blood in the streets. And so now I have something to look at and do my research on. Of, you know, if people say, oh, fucking, you know, Wild West pimp style or whatever the hell that thing was in Texas, like, that's stupid. It's in 25 states and they haven't seen crime go up. There's not blood in the streets. Like, it's no big deal. So let's pass it in Wyoming or which, you know, I don't know, whatever state still needs it. So
about the people who are so NRA that as long as NRA already touched it, then I'll touch it too, because that is a thing. And now if Georgia Carey would have said, hey, it's ours, and NRA didn't say nothing when it comes to Pennsylvania, they might be like, well, I'm not going to do something that I never even heard of Georgia Carey. NRA hasn't touched it, so it hasn't been deemed appropriate for me yet, you know. But as long as NRA comes by and goes, oh no, we're cool with it, like you say, Pennsylvania or whoever can be like, oh wait, if NRA said it's cool, then we want that too.
And the thing is, you know, we always, at least I tend to always think of like regular people or whatever, because that's where I think the power really is. But you also have to acknowledge like politicians do exist, and they're the ones actually voting on the thing. And there are definitely the politicians that are like, well, I don't want to get the bad score from the NRA. So there is something to be said. Like, even if the NRA just says, we back this thing, that's going to get a handful of senators or whatever to automatically back it. Like, they, not that they even care one way or the other, but they'll be like, well, these guys want me to vote for it, so I will. So, like, yeah, I'm not necessarily always trying to like bash on them either. That, again, there's different forms of attack like within the organizations, and there's different types of organizations. And yeah, the NRA is the aircraft carrier that takes all the heat. Like Bob was saying, basically they get all the hate also. And like, they're not wrong. Like, they're going to soak up all of the attention from the media and from the Bloombergs and all that stuff. And maybe they're running a distraction play, and the FBC can sneak in behind and actually get something done because no one noticed.
Oh, they definitely are. They definitely are. I mean, I guess it would be interesting to find out how to know. But I mean, has there ever been a political speech except for like the one that the GOA uses as an example when like Rand Paul or somebody said, I don't like the GOA. But like everybody always talks about the NRA. And I guess now that the NRA win the lawsuit, or at least make it really difficult. They're not going to be able to do the lawsuit like they wanted. So NRA's not going anywhere. The lawsuit from like New York where they were going to mess with the NRA.
Yeah, because there was something with like the accounting firm and the corruption and stuff, which, like, you know,
It
is
brought
bad.
life to
Like, I'd
stuff.
like to see that all get
It
cleaned
made
up anyways,
people
but
It made people leave. People that were gonna die and leave their giant money to the NRA did stop that. They ended that concept. So the NRA had, what's that called, bequeathed, or fucking whatever. There's a name for that when you leave money, because people used to do it to PBS all the time. Remember? Because they thought it was so important to have educational broadcasting or whatever. So people were doing the same thing with the
but
NRA.
only after they were done using all the stuff. Like, you can't have my money now when I can actually enjoy what you're doing. But once I'm dead, I guess you can have what's left over.
Well, I'm talking rich people, right? People that
I know what you mean.
living on all the money, I'm assuming, right? And then they're like, well, I don't have anybody else, so you're getting it, or I hate my kids, or whatever the deal is, right? So, what I understand, that's what the NRA lost a bunch of, and endowment, is that the right word? If that's the case, whatever that is, we all know what we're talking about, right? If that's the case for real, if I'm not just hearing gossip, then that's the kind of stuff that hits home. They hear that, but obviously it didn't, because we still got Wayne. That's super frustrating and lame. And I don't think that you're gonna. It's a self-fulfilling. All the people that are observers went, oh well, we're gonna watch and nothing's gonna happen. Well, of course nothing's gonna happen, because you're not gonna do nothing but watch. If everybody, I keep saying, if everybody would have done like they did in '77 and just done something at the show, like if there'd have been an effort to everybody do something. There's all those protesting going on outside. They got all the news in the world, and then half the organization went outside and put on a hat in front of all the news and said, we don't want Wayne here either. The NRA is better than what you people are calling it, and we don't want, blah, blah, blah. Or, there's no way that would happen, because there's there was like one speech that could have been said for everybody. But if they, if enough people could have said, hey, if you're dissatisfied with the leadership of the NRA, bring an orange hat and wear it at noon. And if you want, try to wear it in front of the cameras. And then at noon, right, click, 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 everybody starts taking selfies of these orange hats everywhere. That makes a difference. And whether or not people want to believe it or not, the board, those 75 humans that, have to be paying attention when everybody at the NRA puts on an orange hat, and then decide, well, I'm either going to do nothing like Tom Selleck, I'm going to do nothing again this year. And even though I'm a board member, do nothing with that, power or ability, responsibility or obligation, just leave it laying there. Or, some of those other 74 people that aren't worthless might actually march into that thing and go, let's get rid of Wayne. Like, why are we sticking, or at least ask them, like, why are we sticking with Wayne? Why are we making this many people? Why are half our members mad? Like, what is this even about? Why are we getting protested by the people that hate us, and half our members are upset with this guy? What's up with this? What do we do to solve this? And half the time people are like, how do we get rid of this? And Wayne's going to be like, look, I'm 76 or whatever. I've got millions of dollars no matter when I leave. Oh, see ya, right? What's he sticking around for? Well, I know what he's sticking around for, because the opposite side of all this is not the anti side, but the NRA side of all this is that the people who are dissatisfied with Wayne are dissatisfied with the NRA. They're from the outside and they're attacking us. So therefore, ignore everything anybody says, stick with Wayne no matter what. And it's pretty easy to keep Wayne in when you tell him that.
He's the only thing protecting us from the evil other side.
Yeah, and because they're going after him specifically, it means we got to keep him just to piss him off, right? And that's sucky. So colleges do it too? Are you saying that colleges will all put on hats or something?
No, but I was talking about the endowment. So like an alumni association or whatever, like, so when you die, you give the money to like scholarship or something for the college, or so that they can build a new auditorium or whatever the heck.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. And I'm totally familiar with that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Sorry, I'm texting and stuff.
I never quite understood that, though. I don't know. I guess it is what it is, but like,
texting, it's sort of like using a instant email on the phone.
Is it like sending a letter?
Yeah, it's like sending a letter, except it's really fast and you use your telephone with your finger.
Oh, so you're emailing. I've heard about this. The kids do it.
Yeah, very similar. It's kind of like a mix between email and TikTok.
Oh, I like the orange TikToks. Those taste the best. I tried the cinnamon TikToks, but they're not as good.
Anyway, sorry about that.
Oh, you're all good. But no, what I was saying, I don't understand people like. I guess it like that school spirit or whatever. Like there are people like I don't know whatever. Like I went to Yale, and like, dude, you're 40 years old. No one cares that you went to Yale like a long time ago. Like, what's the big deal?
Oh, I think I know what the big deal is because whenever was a little kid, I started having to go to things like summer camps and things. So did you ever do that when you were a little kid? Go away for a week, go away overnight, go away for like a school thing, like those kind of trips?
Yeah,
Like I don't think everybody does that, right? Like some people just live at home all the time. Because I know that because I never thought about it when I was in school because we were all experiencing it, so we were all together and we never talked about it. But when I would go into military trainings and stuff, a lot of times I don't know what it's called anymore, but let's say a training is supposed to happen, but military is not all that smart, especially before the internet. It wasn't all that efficient, let's say. So you'd start showing up, and then other people would start showing up, and then when they got 20 people, a class would start. Actually, the next Monday or whatever, like a class would start, and then in that barracks, another person would show up. So there'd be like the incoming receiving of the base or the fort or whatever. And then the incoming would say, oh, you're here for that class, go into those barracks and hang out. And you get used to that and you would just kind of hang out. And if you were lucky, if you knew how to play the game, you could be like, oh, I hurt my leg. And then you could just sit there and definitely, there's all kinds of ways to play the game in a bureaucracy. But for the most part, I got stuck one time. So I can't remember anymore. I got stuck doing something where I just hit it, like the class just started before me, and I was like, damn, I'm going to be here for like 2 weeks, right? And those kind of things are fine if you're looking to not do anything because you can just hang out and not do anything. But if you're really antsy and you're a kid and you want to get into it, like it's just mind numbing to have to sit there. You're all ready to go and you have to sit there for 2 weeks because it literally takes 2 weeks for people to just slowly trickle in, and then it's like. Anyway, that's what I'm getting to. So after people have figured out that element of service, and I'm sure this happens with other things too. That's why I'm thinking college is like this. You get, and I don't know if you dealt with this or not, but you'll get people that come from a lot of different places, and you got nothing else to do, so you sit there bullshitting. I guess in school, it's like you go to classes and you do your thing, and after at night you're just de-stressing with all your student friends, right? So you get all these people coming from all different places and they're experiencing all this for the first time. And that's what I was going to say. When, I'd be there and I'd be like trying to go, oh, what are we doing? Like, let's get ready. What can we do? Can we get in shape? Can we fucking work out? Can we impress somebody? Like, what can we go do something, paint something? What can we do to impress somebody and get through this faster or whatever? And try to scope out other people who's coming in, like who's going to be the other leaders in this thing, like how to, you know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of stuff going on. And then there'd be the people that are like, I've never left my hometown before. And then it's like, hey, like let's get you out of that mode so you can get up to speed or whatever, right? Like, and that's the thing where, anyway, I was getting at. I think you got that common bond and that common experience when you haven't done anything like that before. I think once you get used to it, you get hard into it and you don't think about it, you don't appreciate it anymore. But I think people, when they go to college, they're coming from being a little kid. They think they're so good and they got into their college, they worked hard, so they're proud of it. Then they go there and they bond. And I know a couple of people that went to school. Like I didn't do this because I didn't go to that kind of school like that. But I know a couple of people that went right in, went to fraternities and they're like really into it. And I could totally see like that's their new family. Like that's it's like their first family. That's like the first family that they sort of picked, even though they didn't really pick it. You know what I mean? Like they picked them out of the selection that they had available. And then they're like that for the rest of their time. Just like some people in the military, like, they'll do something, go through some experience, and they're brothers or sisters from that point on. And then I'm sure that happens with all kinds of things where you're out with a road crew or something, and it's like, holy shit, we survived that winter. Like we're brothers for life. So I think there's that element to it. But it could just be fucking rah, dude, bro bullshit too, I guess. Herd mentality. Like it's easier to hang out if there's a bunch of other capable people who are doing work and I can just stand there being friends with them and watch them. which is always kind of always bothered me too. So it's one of the reasons I didn't thrive in those situations.
Yeah, sorry. I know what you mean. I'm not good at doing multiple things at once, though. I kept dropping my battery charger.
Yeah, I can't imagine trying to do all this stuff. I don't know how you guys do it on your phones.
But
I got like, multiple screens.
so another thing is like when like people are, well, I went to Yale. They're also like kind of bragging. Like I got into an Ivy League school.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they're trying to be like, I'm way better than you because I went to a top-notch school. What did you do?
Well, yeah, and I mean, I guess I get that.
Well, I mean, you can be proud of your shit. I mean, somebody who's like, "Oh, I'm Navy, blah blah blah." Like, all right, I get it. Like, that's hard to do. Like, I get it. It doesn't mean everybody else in the world appreciates it, but you can appreciate that it's tough to do. But yeah, and if it's just something like costs a bunch of money, okay, big whoop. But if it's like, tough, like I don't know, Yale, is that one that you just have to pay money again to, or you got to be good to get in there? Like you have to be smart or something?
Well, you're supposed to be smart and rich.
I mean, if you're smart, then I can get it. But then on the other hand, I don't get the idea of like going around being like, ha ha ha, like you know what I mean? Like, big whoop. Let's just you got time to read a bunch of books or whatever, and then sit in front of somebody who quizzes you on whether you remember the shit you read in books. I mean, it doesn't make you smart. It just means for some things. I'm talking about school smart or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, and I do get like bragging of like, oh, like I went to Yale or Harvard or MIT, or like, oh yeah, you're bragging that you're smart and stuff too. But I guess I still was just thinking like that having that school spirit to like be on the alumni association and donate all the money and do all like, I like the school I went to. It was like a small school, and it was basically all they did was engineering and architect. Like they didn't have, you couldn't do any other like bachelor or whatever. Like that was the only degrees they had, and it was fine. But I looked at school of like, I'm getting a piece of paper that I can show to someone that they'll give me money because I have a piece of paper. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure stuff, but
they want you to have
stuff I do at work. I probably could have figured out like if I just went to that work and then they showed me how to do it, and I'd be like, okay, now I know how to do it. Like I'm good to go. But no one will give you that chance till you have that piece of paper. That's like, kind of the way I look at it.
Well, the piece of paper, like you say, but it also means you got a certain set of standardized information. So you're coming at it with more than just knowledge from off the street or whatever. But then there's that element where you've accomplished a shit ton of tasks and you've been self-motivated to do a bunch of stuff. And depending on how you got through it, it was not easy financially or, mentally or any of the other things typically. You know what I mean? So you get that. It's just like when somebody will go, oh, if you want to go to my training class, make sure you got a CCW, because that gives them a threshold. They know that somebody else has vetted them. So it's like the school has vetted you, right? Like we're not giving you a degree unless you've shown that you're competent and that you've met this level of expectation coming through in this course.
Yeah, and I get why an employer would want that, because it proves that I can get up on time and go to a thing that I don't really want to go to or whatever. Like, I guess I'm just thinking of it. For example, like I had to take 2 math classes like higher than calculus 4. So it's like there were 4 semesters of calculus and then 2 more on top of that. And do you think I've done any of that kind of stuff at work? Like, no. There's definitely some stuff I've learned, and especially on the engineering side, like some of the physics formulas and things. Like, yeah, I actually use that every day or some days, but I've never had to. I don't know. Can't even think of the shit I did.
What's beyond physics? Or wait a minute, what's beyond calculus? Is that like statistics or something else?
Trigonometry?
No,
I did do statistics, but no, there was
I thought it goes algebra, trigonometry, calculus, or geometry, calculus, trigonometry, algebra, or calculus?
I mean, there's all different. Like, trying to think, like in like high school,
Geometry is the shapes, and then trigonometry is
algebra,
you the shapes.
right. It was like algebra, geometry, algebra 2, trig, and then I took pre-calc. So that was like high school, and then calculus is like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I don't know. Our school called it advanced engineering math, so it was like specific to that.
Okay.
There was vibration analysis. That's a whole bunch of like crazy formulas and how all this like springs and shit like interact with each other. And trying, there was another math thing though that like was near the end, but I mean it was just like these crazy formulas and having to transpose them into polar coordinates and doing this, that, and the other things. I'm like, I guess if I was, I don't know, maybe I'm just not in a smart enough engineering field, but like someone uses it, but I've never had to.
And then if you get super brainy, you have the theory of mathematical equations.
Exactly. Yeah, like stuff like that. Like I don't need to derive formulas and proofs and stuff. Like someone already did that. So in the real world, if I want to know like fluid dynamics or something, I take the Bernoulli equation because Bernoulli already invented it, and I plug in the numbers that I know, and I solve for the numbers I don't know, and I figure out like what pressures and velocities and whatever. Like I don't need to invent the equation. And these were math classes like showing you how they invented the equations. I'm like, I don't need to do that. Someone already did that for me. It's good that I know they exist. Like that's one of the things I do take from it is that it at least I remember enough about it to know like, oh, there's a thing to solve this, and then I have enough memory to at least look it up, and then I know it for good. Like I didn't memorize all this stuff, but I know it exists.
Like let's say that you went to a class and you learned how a hammer works, and then you go to a class and you learn how pliers work, and then you learn how a screwdriver works, right? And then you start going to classes where they show you like fancy screwdrivers and screwdrivers that have ratchets and magnetic screwdrivers. And then they show you how pliers that fold and pliers with different shaped jaws and pliers that can do different ratcheting compressions and pliers that lock, pliers that go around pipes and pliers that can compress a fitting onto a pipe that makes it watertight, right? Or something like maybe a ring, pliers that can open up snap rings and shit like that. So they show you all this stuff, and then you go out to the world as a machinist, and now you encounter a situation where you got to get a snap ring off around a corner, and you've seen all the tools before. So now you know what tools are out there, and you know what tools are in your toolbox. You know what maybe you can improvise and what maybe it's worth going to the store, sending somebody to the store and bringing back an attachment for his thing. Does that make it turn into tools? So if they don't show you all that stuff and make you use the tool once in a while, like use the snap ring pliers, like don't just look at them because they look like pliers. Use them. Oh, see how you use the snap ring? Now move on to the next thing. Use this hose clamp plier. See how it's different? Touch them. Use them. See how it's different? They work the other way, right? And then you're like, done. Now get out of here. You've used everything in the toolbox. Go do work and not be an idiot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's basically kind of what I was saying. It's like, oh, I've seen this before. Like I don't remember. Like I might not remember exactly how to build snap ring players from the ground up, but I know they exist. Like why not go find someone who does know how to do it, or try and remember and make them myself.
And it can be like, are there really snap ring pliers, or am I an idiot? And he'll go, yeah, we got them in the bottom drawer. Or he'll be like, no, you got to go buy those, or like, we can't use those. You got to do some different way. But yeah, they do exist.
Right. Yeah. No, and that's kind of what I was mentioning. Was like I didn't memorize all the equation, but I know that there's an equation out there that you can solve the thing, and then I just go look it up or whatever.
And then, there's somebody out there who's like, snap ring pliers, I snap that off with a screwdriver. So why would you go to all those pliers classes? You know what I mean? And that's just the way the world is. Like, yeah, you can totally just do that. But that doesn't mean that every time you see a snap ring, you can just whip it off with a screwdriver. And doesn't mean that you didn't scratch shit up and you didn't break the screwdriver or the snap ring or whatever it is was being connected with that thing, Because there's lots of people out there like, I do it this way. And it's like, oh, really? Well, you've ruined the thing that it's on because of the way you're doing it. And if you would have just used this pliers over here, you'd still be using, you wouldn't be replacing this whole thing though.
We just did a thing, it was like 2 weeks ago, and we were trying to get the snap ring out, and we went through like 3 sets of tips. It was breaking the pliers before we get the snap ring going. And we finally got it out and like took all the thing apart. And then once we cleaned up all the grease, we realized we didn't have to take the snap ring out. So I'm a little traumatized by snap rings at the moment.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't realize.
That's okay.
He's wincing.
No, it was good learning because now I figured out like the way to take it off from the other side. Like it was like this whole big thing, but the problem was it was like so greased up and everything that we thought the only way to like get into the inside was like from the front side, basically take the snap ring off. There's like a collar thing and take that off and then get in there. And then once we did that and fought with it and got it all cleaned up, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? We could have popped it out from the backside. Like we didn't even need to go in through the front. I thought I had to go all the way through, but turns out the back part comes off. So whatever. Anyways.
If I had a buck for every time something like that would happen.
Oh, it happens a lot.
Well, I wouldn't have that many, but I would have probably $100 or something. And I wouldn't be rich.
But that's the fun of taking robots apart and having to do stuff that is like very rarely done. So even like the other guys that work on it that are supposed to know how to do it, they're like, "Oh, I think I did that once like 3 years ago." I'm like, "All right, well I've never done it." So and the owner's manual isn't super descriptive, so I guess we're figuring it out together. Luckily though, I'm the type of person once I've done it once, hands on, like I'm pretty good at remembering it. So I can guarantee you I'll never fight with that snap ring again if we ever have to do it.
Guys, it's been fun. Thanks for letting me on, but I'm gonna bail out and head to bed.
All right, man. Yeah, thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it.
Take it easy.
In fact, I'm kind of leaning that same way. So thanks for jumping in, G-Webs. As always, you have good points of view, sparking conversation.
Right on. Thanks for hosting.
Yep. And thanks everyone for watching and contributing in the comments. I always appreciate that. And also, hi, Bob. I totally forgot to say hi to you. I did see you, but someone else was talking. And I was like, oh, I'll say hi, Bob, in a second. And then I completely forgot. So if he's still listening, sorry. But whatever. I've talked to Bob enough in my life. That's okay. He's all right. Anyways, all right. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Take it easy. Doop 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 doop.